Today we are going to discuss about data structure, how processors and softwares could handle data. 8 bits form 1 byte and 1024 kilobytes, 1024 bytes form 1 KB and so on. And the many of the processors, whether it is a dual core, whether it is having 4 cores, quad core, 6 core or 8 cores, how they handle the data, how much the data per second they could handle. We are going to discuss such things.
Welcome back to computer classes. Today we are going to discuss about data structure, or how the data multiplies, what are the units of data, how data is being written in the hard disk, and what is the size of data, what is the storage capacity of various devices, just like hard disk, just like a pen drive, and so on, and what are the various types of files, their extensions, and how to shut down a computer properly, and so on. And first we are going to see about the what is a 32-bit system and what is the difference between a 64-bit system. There are operating system as well as the processors which could handle 32-bit of data. 32-bit of data means 2 raised to 32 memory addresses. That means such devices or such softwares will be able to handle 2 raised to 32 bits of memory at the same time. That is a 32-bit system. That means 2 raised to 32 means 2 into 2 into 2 32 times. 2 multiplied by 2 32 times. And that will be the maximum data a 32-bit memory could handle. It will be 4 GBs of RAM only. But when it comes now, 64-bit systems are also available. But 64 is exactly double of, you can't say double, 2 multiplied 64 times. Look here, after reaching 2 raised to 32, when you multiply it with 2 ones, it will be doubled. That means it goes on multiplying for another 32 times. That means it will be able to handle 18 quintillions bytes of RAM. In short, I am not explaining much more. In short, a 4 GB RAM or more could be handled easily by a 64-bit processor or a 64-bit operating system. And the major difference between a 32-bit processor and a 64-bit processor is the number of calculations per second they can perform. Look here, every second the second processor is able to do 18 quintillion bytes of data, and which affects the speed at which they can complete a task. Look here, a 32-bit processor could handle a bulk, and a 64-bit processor is handling data per second much more faster than the first one. So a 64-bit processor can come in dual core, a quad core, 6 core, 8 core, and different versions for home computing also. When you come to know about the processor speed, you have to think about two things. Especially think about a mobile processor which is having quad core processor. The quad core processor is handling data at very high speed. Continuously, if it is handling data at very high speed, what happens? The processor gets heated up. The memory of the battery capacity of the device gets drained up very fast, and the common person is not always doing multiple or multitasking all the times, not doing, and he need to see the simple task like a mobile telephone calls etc. to be answered much more easily. So for such things they have kept processes in such a manner that when it is idle or when it is not being heavily used, the processor uses only dual core, only 2 cores, even though it is having 6 core or 8 cores at times to do multitasking. This helps in adjusting the battery performance as well as the processor's performance. Multiple cores allows for an increased number of calculations per second, and this can be performed with an increasing the processing power and help make a computer run faster. Software programs that require many calculations to function smoothly can operate faster and more efficiently on the multi-core 64-bit processor. And how the data multiplies. 1 GB of RAM is multiplied to 2 GB. From 2 GB of RAM it is multiplied to 4 GB, and 4 GB of RAM is multiplied to 8, and so on. And when it reaches 1024, it is being rounded up as a different way of expression. For example, 1024 KB is equal to 1 MB. When you just say that there is a 1 MB of data, you mean that there is 1024 kilobytes of data being handled at that time. 1024 MB means 1 GB. Do you remember even the mobile providers gives you data in MBs, GBs, etc. The data which you consume every second is being metered, and you are given a limit of 1.5 GB or 2 GB or 3 GB per day. Okay, and we are going to see the next one, how the after bytes it is kilobytes, above kilobytes it's megabytes, then comes gigabyte, that means GB, then comes TB or terabyte, and 1024 terabytes forms pentabyte, and 1024 pentabytes become exabyte, and 1024 exabyte forms zettabyte, and 1024 zettabytes nowadays means yottabytes. This is a way in which data is being multiplied every now and then. And the largest hard disk which is available at the present day scenario is about 2T or 4T, etc. The most commonly used one is 1 terabyte, 1T, and 1T of data itself is very big. And look the manner in which, if it is a 1 PT or petabyte, how much data will be there in that hard disk? Imagine about that. And how data is being arranged in a hard disk, and how the electronic components are able to identify what is happening, or to write or read the data in your hard disk. all the data in your hard disk or the floppy disk or the pen drive or any storage device is being stored in such a manner that it is being stored as ones and zeros, and the sequence in which the ones and zeros occur in a program determines whether it is a capital A and whether it is a small a or so on. Each character is given a specific manner of 8 digits. And you could, I have explained in the last class about how data is being organized in hard disk, the hard disk drive, the pen drive, the floppy disk drive, etc. The device is able to, the machines are able to identify only one thing. The machine is able to identify only one thing, whether there is electricity or whether there is no electricity. And when there is an electricity going on, it is assigned as 1, and when there is no electricity, it is assigned at 0. And when a sequence occur in 0 1 0 0 0 0 0 1 according to the American Standard Code of Information Interchange. We have studied it in the younger classes. What is ASCII? ASCII means American Standard Code for Information Interchange. When a data sequence of 0 1 0 0 0 0 0 1 appears, the computer identifies it as a capital A. Likewise, small a, small b, capital B, every letter is being identified, and combination keys are also being identified with different patterns of ones and zeros. Then this is called machine language. Writing data on the hard disk in one or any storage device in ones and zeros is known as machine language. When you study about the latest languages, we will say that it is a high level language. What is the difference between a high level language and a machine language? The machine language is able to recognize only ones and zeros, but a high level language resembles near to the English language which we are using. So the English language is being converted to machine language with the help of an interpreter. So we are studying the basics of machine language, ones and zeros, how an interpreter converts a high level language to a machine language of ones and zeros. And now we are moving to the next, how data is being written. Data on the hard disk, on the pen drive, on the USB drive, etc. The file allocation table or FAT, FAT12, FAT16 and FAT32 are the ways in which data is being written in onto the hard disk or any other device. The file allocation table is a computer file system architecture and is a legacy file which is simple and robust and which offers good performance even in lightweight implementation. FAT file systems are by default file systems which are being used to write data in USB flash drives, media players, camcorders and so on. Even in floppy disk and hard disk also, this FAT12, 16 or 32 architect is used to write data over there. FAT12 means 12 bits of data is being written or addressed to the hard disk or any other device at the same time. The largest partition FAT32 can access about 2 terabytes. So you have to remember the basic stuff. What is FAT? The FAT means file allocation table, and the file allocation table is used to allocate files into the hard disk or any storage device. It could be a USB, it could be a floppy drive, it could be a hard disk drive also. And now once again I am going to show the area by which the quantum in which a 64-bit processor advances against 32-bit. And these are processors. The latest Ultimate Core i9 processor and i7 processor. These are microprocessors. The microprocessors which are being used, the 5th generation, the i5, i7, i9, the 8th generation and the 9th generation processors are being seen on the, and i7 Intel 9th generation computer have the following configuration. It could handle about 8 GB, that means 2 into 4 GB DDR4, 2666 MHz. Windows 10, this is the manner in which the basic processor could handle data. Okay, this is about i5. The last one was about Intel i7, the 9th generation. This is i5 10th generation laptop. How? This is having another technology. This is the latest one, 256 GB of SSD, and that is the latest development, which is much more faster than the conventional 1T of HDD hard disk drive. And these are the specifications in which 4 core 8 threads. Look here, 4.2 gigahertz of maximum speed and 1.4 gigahertz of base speed. I have explained about two ways. When the processor is ideal, the processor will be having 1.6 gigabytes of base speed, and when it is having heavy work, it will be having 4.2 gigahertz of maximum speed. Okay, all this shows whether this is the area from where I have the device ID number, product ID, operating system, etc. How a 64-bit operating system is being whether installed there, or whether how much RAM is being installed on your processor. Just go to the settings, and if you go through the device properties, you could see that this whether it is a 64-bit operating system and a 64-bit processor, and the 64-bit operating system and 64-bit processor synchronizes or helps to complete the work effectively. Look here, the iPhone 12 lineup based. Look, what is the speed? What are the advantages? 4 GB of RAM. It could be easily handling 5 GB data. That means 3G, 4G and 5G are there of connectivity to the internet. The iPhone 12 lineup may be able to handle 5 GB of data. It will having dual camera and so on. And these are the processors which are being used nowadays for in the mobile phones. Qualcomm Snapdragon processor is the most and widely used processor. Samsung's Exynos and Apple processor is there, and Intel is having a processor called Atom. All these processors compete mutually to establish its own dominance in the field of mobiles. And you could see the HD dual SIM mobile. What is the specification? Qualcomm Snapdragon 835. We were just seeing about the processor and what all things are there. All these are the specifications of a HTC Android mobile. I have given these things. Qualcomm Quick Charger 3. These are the specifications. RAM 6 GB. This is a specification of the mobiles which are coming. Look, nowadays the mobiles are occupied with 4 or 5 cameras on the back, 4 cameras in the back itself, and each camera is having its own function. On the screen you are seeing the specifications of the latest HTC Android mobile. The mobile is having a Qualcomm Snapdragon 835 processor. The next one, 5.5 inch 13.97 centimeter quad, high definition cornering Gorilla Glass. That is the size of it indicates the size of the mobile, whether it supports micro SD XC card. What is the RAM? RAM is 6 GB. And now the camera specifications are there. 12 MB / 1.7, that's front and the back cameras, and 16 MP selfie panoramic, edge sensors. The phone is having sensors on the edge, and audio is there, whether the fingerprint recognition is there, how the charger, the Qualcomm Quick Charger 3 is there, HTC Sonic with active noise cancellation reduction debuilt, dual nano SIM. That means the phone is able to occupy 2 SIMs, and Wi-Fi is available, 4G LTE. On such technologies are being available on HTC's mobile. And now we are going to see about the Apple phone and its specifications. Why I am giving you such things? Because the students are interested in the configuration of mobile as well as the computers, and what is the processor speed, and which all companies are manufacturing processors, and what all identifications a phone could do. The face identification is there. It is able to identify your fingers, and the phone is able to identify many other things also with artificial intelligence embedded in the phone. And one more thing, what are the basic types of files which you are using nowadays? You will be using Word file, Excel file, and PowerPoint files. What all files you create will be having its own extensions. That means you don't need to give any extension, because it will be given by the system itself, and these file extensions help the computer to identify what sort of a file or which program or which application is associated with these type of files, and it helps those applications to open these files in the next time. DOC means documents, or DOCX also is the advanced stages. The Word files which were being created in 2007 Office version or in 2010 were having DOC extension. XLX extension was for Excel files, and the PPT was the extension for the PowerPoint files. Similarly, when technology advanced or the newer versions of Office came into establishment, these DOCX as well as XLSX and PPTX etc. were being attached to the new extension attachments given to Word file, Excel file and PowerPoint file. Not only Word, Excel and PowerPoint are the files, but there are image files, but we have sound files, we have wave files, we have MP3 files, we have MP4 files, etc., which are being created with the help of various other applications or programs. We will see the different types of file extensions. PHP is there, HTML is there, .jsp is there, EML is there, WAV wave file, that is music file, EPS, doc, PNG portable network graphics we have studied. Zip files are there. That means when the files are being compressed, the zip files are formed, and when the compressed files are decompressed, it turns to the original size. TXT means text files. XLS, it may be of the files of Excel sheets, and PPT PowerPoint presentation, MP3 music, AVI again music with video, and there are so many types of files, and few you have learned. All these extensions having its own significance when considered with one application program or the applications in which you are developing those files. For example, when you click a shoot with your camera, the most probably the most common file extension that comes over there is JPEG, or Joint Photographics Experts Group are given that file extension JPEG. And these types of file extensions helps the computer to identify which application or which program need to open that sort of a file. And these type of informations which I have furnished today is a part of the general curriculum, so that your knowledge about the fundamentals of computers are being expanded, and you are familiar with different types of files, how to buy a new computer, and how to see or identify the configuration of the system, how to, when you buy a mobile devices, what is the configuration of the mobile which you use, or how the price changes occur when the RAM capacity or the storage capacity increases. All this, how data is being written into the hard disk, pen drive, camcorder, memory, and so on. All this was being discussed in detail in our class, and we wish it was easy, as well as you are following my class in its true sense. Thank you for being with me.